Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, I was watching one of Brock TV's latest reviews. And, it was definitely interesting. I mean, all his reviews are interesting, but this one was particularly interesting because of the, backroom drama that's going on behind the scenes of GH. And I wouldn't be talking about it so much, but the problem is that it's affecting what's going on in the story. So Alexis has been in jail for quite a while. You know who hasn't visited Alexis since, I don't even remember the last scenes that they had together, but especially visiting her? Jax. You know who has visited her more? Valentin. And that's because of the backroom drama that's going on between, I think his name is Ingo, and Nancy, and Kimberly, and I'm not going to try to get too much into it, but, you know, at the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about the subject, as far as the vaccine, if you're for it, if you're against it, the way I look at it, I feel like you have to do what's best for you. Not what's best for everyone else, what's best for you. And you can agree and disagree, have debates and everything like that. But when you start calling to get someone fired, that's stepping over the line. I'm talking about Kimberly. Which I was thinking about that today, and I was like, to be honest, I never really liked Robin too much. I really didn't hate her, but it was just like, I can, really do without her. And the only time I actually felt like she was somewhat tolerable is when she was with Patrick. Especially when they had that show called the Night Shift. But, I don't know. Like I said, you can feel how you want to feel about it. When you start calling for someone's job, it's an issue. And, between the issues and the beef or whatever between Nancy and Ingo, and now it's affecting the show. They're supposed to be best friends, Alexis always sits there and says, oh, he's my favorite ex-husband that didn't visit once. So I agree with Brock TV as far as ABC Studios, whoever running that part, they need to get their house in order. Because it's out of hand. Gladys. It's really sad because up until now, I didn't really sit there and notice the true purpose of Gladys. Gladys' whole point, and I feel like a lot of ways of just being on the show, is just to annoy someone. That's literally it. That is literally her purpose. Is when she's on one of these episodes, it's her job to find a way to annoy someone. Okay? Lucy's sitting there taking her apartment hunting. She's acting all diva-like. And she's complaining about this, that, and the third. I'm looking at my phone because I'm like, after a while, I start to turn her out. So she's just being a complete and utter annoying jackass there. No. It doesn't stop. No. Not with Gladys. The party doesn't stop. Because after Carly was sitting there talking to, I guess I'm going to call him Senior Novak. I don't really remember his first name. But after she finished talking to him, and it's funny too, when she's sitting there talking, you got Gladys sitting there doing this. I'm looking at this woman like, have you lost your damn mind? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I would pay so much money to watch Carly beat the bricks off of that woman. I really would. I really, really would. I would literally pay a good $400 cash just to watch Carly beat the bricks out of her, off her. And of course, she comes, the minute that, Senior Novak leaves, she just parks her little ass on down there. And we're both looking at her like, the hell are you doing? She's all like, oh, my invitation's lost in the mail, and yada, yada, yada about Sonny, and, you're moving on with Jason, and blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, once again, she tried to annoy Carly, like she tries to annoy everyone else. Carly wasn't having it. She was not having it. She shut her down, and she let her know that, listen, I want no parts of you. You gotta be lucky if your son actually wants any parts of you when he has this new family. You better hope that you're included in that. She walked off. And I'm just like, I'm just looking at this woman like, do you actually have nothing else better to do but to just annoy people all day? Like, that's so sad. And, during that whole conversation, you got Carly Cynthia saying, oh, well, Sonny would sit there and want me to move on. He would want me to move on with his best friend. I'm just like, you know what, Carly, I'm siding with you because I don't like this woman. But, to be honest, everything that's coming out of your mouth right now, I just, like, I can't. I can't. But, when Carly finished with Gladys at that point. And this is when Carly was sitting there talking to Senior Novak. And, he was sitting there saying, my nephew or my son. I can't remember what it was called. But pretty much the guy was like, yo, listen, I sent him away from Port Charles permanently. At some point, Novak, I guess, is just sitting down or whatever. And Gladys walks over to, I guess, Mr. Novak, and just all like, oh, well, Carly's this and Carly's that, and she ain't got good manners, and being married to Jason right after my cousin died. And I'm just like, here we go with this stupid, this stupid dumb dingbat once again, just screwing up people's plans, because that's what she does. She screws up people's plans, and she annoys the living hell out of people. And I'm not gonna lie, it's so annoying when I go on Instagram and you see scenes of her. You'll probably see a scene of her tonight. If you have Instagram, you go on there, whatever. And you'll see people at the bottom like, oh, I love her. She just makes things so much fun. And I'm just like, wow, me and you have two definitions of fun. I mean, on one hand, it woke me up. On the other hand, she annoyed me, so it's kind of like a catch-22. I'll leave it at that. Besides that, Brando and Sasha had their talk, and the sad thing is that I like Brando, and I like Sasha, but sometimes when they're on these episodes, I feel like it's just like, why are you here? Why are you here? I mean, Sasha doesn't really have a connection really with Michael or anyone that's I don't know, I guess super important or whatever. I mean, and Brando's connection, kind of was with the Corinthos. Now they're doing their own little spin-off thing with his annoying ass mother, and I'm just like, why are you here? I don't know, sometimes, even in this episode, I felt like they were just somewhat pointless. I mean, all they really did was sit there and have a conversation about Brando not wanting to go to the wedding because, Jason and Carly are associated with a mob, and Sasha's like, you can go and be with family and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, part of me was just like so not invested in that conversation because it was just like, it's like I kind of want to give my opinion on that, but at the same time it was like, why does it matter? Because at the end of the day, why are you here? I mean, I get what Sasha Smith is saying. You can go to their weddings and their functions, but you don't have to be part of the mob business. But I just was like, whatever. Like, and of course Gladys annoyed the hell out of Lucy, which, by the way, when Lucy was not there walking up to Scotty, it was like, oh, what are you doing with old Brick or Brit? I was like, first of all, if you're going to be mad at someone, can you at least try to attempt to pronounce their name right? And why are you coming over at Scott like you're the Jellic's ex-girlfriend or something? I just felt like that scene was just so unnecessary. It was just so unnecessary. Nixon Falls. So Lisa's Nina's outside and they're plotting something with Old Brick as far as trying to lure Peter into some town or whatever, so this way Old Brick can sit there and kill him or whatever. So there's they're plotting and everything like that. Meanwhile, Peter just don't know when to leave like well enough alone. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm really hoping that you have that gun handy, because this dude is literally shooting off his mouth to a guy who doesn't like him. And he's made that clear so many times. Oh, at one point he was like, yo, you act like you know me, like, do you know who I am? And then Peter makes up some sort of BS or whatever. He just kept talking. He just eventually wound up saying the wrong thing, because at this point, Sonya really doesn't like him. And I partly felt like Peter was provoking him, but the minute he actually got that baseball bat and was about to crack his skull open, Peter's all backing up like, hey, chill out, what are you doing? It was like, damn well what he's doing. He's about to sit there and literally knock your damn head off, and oh man, that would have been fun to watch. But at the same time, I like Peter, so it's like, we can't kill him off just yet. Anyway, Nina she rushes in there and she's all like, what are you doing? And she's all like freaking out a little bit. And she takes Peter outside, tells him about the lead with Valentin and Anna. So he goes and searches, but he's like, yo, listen, if you double cross me, it's your ass. That's what I'm gonna sit there and say. If you double cross me, you know what's gonna happen next. So he leaves. Nina comes back, calms down Sonny, and then they, plan on going on their stupid date. So, great. So excited for that. At some point, Anna drops off some papers to Dante about Drew's plane. His plane crash or whatever. And Dante finds something as far as the report is concerned. And I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm sitting there thinking, so let me get this straight. WSB, whole team, international kind of people, very high-tech, very smart, very James Bond, and you're sitting there telling me you had a whole team of people, and you couldn't really find anything. This guy took a look at it about 5-10 minutes, and he found what your crap... Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, yep. WSB. Dante. So at some point, he calls over Sam, because Sam's sitting there talking to her mother about Drew. along with Sean, and I'm not gonna lie, this is another one of those scenes that was just like, was this really necessary? Like the whole scene with Sean playing checkers with Alexis just felt like, alright, well, just here to run down the clock. I mean, yeah, Sam was there talking about Drew with Alexis and kind of citing that's the reason why she's going to kind of stop or take a pause from helping Sean. You know, Sean's like, nah, it's cool, whatever. You know, because he's still looking for the whole shooter of Hayden Barnes, because apparently a lot of people have amnesia, and this is what we're doing. But I'm also just like, does that seem really necessary? Like, did it really go anywhere? I mean, Sean was there talking to Alexis, and, you know, Alexis like, oh, you know, we could sit there and team up again. And I'm like, how are you actually planning on helping Sean find Hayden shooter from in here? How is that going to work? You know what? I don't even care anymore. I really don't. Whatever. But yeah, Dante calls Sam, and you know, Anna joins, and they're looking through the report and everything like that, and they find there was another passenger, which was Nina Reeves. I don't really understand why she was on a, like, I guess flight manifest or whatever, but yeah, they found that. And I think that's about it. So they're on to something, which is probably going to sit there and take about a couple more weeks, so yay. Now, after, you know, Old Brick and Scotty gets on, I guess, a private plane or whatever, Old Brick's a little distracted, and they finally settle in or whatever, and they're flying. There's, I guess, a large amount of turbulence. And out of nowhere, it looks like the plane is either going to go down or is something. It's weird. Because it looked like the plane was going down. But then you see in the previews that they kind of just like it didn't crash. So I don't know if they was managed to like land the plane or whatever. But I don't understand how it looks like it's going down 1 minute. Like it's going to do like some hard crash. And the next minute it's like, whatever. Didn't that plane look familiar? I could have swore I've seen that. I guess all the private planes in Port Charles now look familiar. So, okay. Valentin has his meeting with Austin about continuing on as CEO. He pretty much gives the same talking points as far as like I'm making the company money. Everyone's happy. I'm good at what I do. Let me make you money. And Austin's just like, alright, well, you know, we'll see what happens. Now, the funny thing is that, you know, when Scotty's like, hey, listen, you know, we got this piece of papers, and that they're saying that, you know, Edward was planning on changing the will. And even Valentin was like, that's just a formality. Like, that's pretty much the basis. You're sitting there acting like, you know, this paper is going to give you the king to the castle, and that's not how that works. And I'm like, he's not even a lawyer and he's telling you that. Did I miss something? Like, anyway, he gives a sales pitch and, you know, he gives Austin some time to sit there and think about it. Now, at some point, Austin does walk up to Maxie and Brooklyn. They're sitting there chilling or whatever. Not gonna lie, I don't remember what they were talking about because I felt like it really wasn't that important. Oh yeah, now I remember. Brooklyn's sitting there whining about, you know, maybe the fact that Valentin is going to get, you know, to be CEO, and her daddy's not going to be able to do, and, you know, she worked so hard, blah, 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 and it's just like, I'm not going to lie, Brooklyn, I really don't care. Like, I really don't care about this woman's woes as far as, oh, my daddy's not going to run the company anymore, and I tried so hard. I'm like, no one cares, Brooklyn. Like, your dad, okay, he's not running the company, but he's still sitting there making a profit off of it, so, like, I feel like she's sitting there talking about first world problems. I'm just like, I just really don't care. Austin tries to be friendly with Maxie. Brooklyn continues to act like, well, Brooklyn. And Maxie makes up some sort of excuse to kind of push Austin away by Cynthia saying that, he reminds her of her trauma when she lost a baby, and so he kind of keeps his distance. And, yeah. Man, they really do know how to cram in all of these people. I think the last scene is with Jason and Jason and Jordan. And all it is Jordan Cynthia saying like, Cyrus maybe Cynthia trying to move as far as, Jason and the territory or whatever, or just a move on Jason. And, she's just worried about the guest list or whatever. As far as their wedding, to make sure it's not going to be, like a mafia war or whatever. I think Jordan was Cynthia trying to fish for information. And, I'm not going to lie, I don't think it really went anywhere else. Except for Jason talked to Carly and was like, yo, Cyrus maybe Cynthia trying to think about retaliating. Which is kind of odd, because it's like, it's so long to sit there and do that. But now, out of nowhere, it's like, you know what? I've been in jail for 3 months. Yep, I think it's time for somebody to die. That's clearly it. It's 3 months. It's about that time. Just so random. And Sean talks to Jordan, because, Jordan was like, maybe you should just live your life. Stop Cynthia trying to chase these leads. Like, you just got your freedom back. Why don't you just enjoy your freedom? And it really didn't add up too much of anything, because Sean was like, yep, I heard exactly what you said, but I'm going to do the exact opposite, because it's what I want to do. I know he said it more like, I want to try to find justice and unanswered questions and stuff like that, but in reality, it was like, yep, I heard everything what you said. I'm just going to do the exact opposite of that, because, well, it's what I want to do. Point blank. I think, whatever that guy's Novak, the older one, is going to probably try to use Gladys as some sort of information or whatever, try to get information on Carly, because, Gladys, the fact that this woman actually said Carly has no class, I'm like, really, Gladys? Really? No class? That's really... Alright, cool. I'm pretty sure that, like, the Novaks is going to sit there and try to use Gladys, because Gladys is just such a dumbass. Like, literally, you went from having one mob guy use you to the point of you getting shot, talking about your act of heroism, and, people are just like, yo, you got shot in the arm. Like, relax. It's just kind of crazy the way they're saying that, but, like, when she was in the hospital, it was like, oh, we don't know if she's going to live or die, and I'm like, she got shot in the arm. I'm no doctor, okay? I don't know, like, if she has, like, a blood clotting problem or anything like that. I don't know. But, I'm just like, literally, you go from working for Cyrus to now you're just like, oh, I'm going to sit down and work for the Novak. Didn't that chick just literally sit there and say not that long ago, I'm going to change my life around. I'm going to do things differently. You sit there talking to another mob guy. I remember when Sasha was sitting there saying that, Brando, Brando's like, oh, I'm so sorry about my mom. And, Sasha was like, well, the only good thing that makes it bearable or whatever, like a good consolation prize, or something that she said, was you, as far as Brando. And I'm like, I don't know, Sasha. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how. I really feel that it doesn't matter how good looking Brando is. I'm pretty sure no one is gonna want to put up with her mother. With his mother, for him. I don't care how good I don't care how good looking he is. No one's gonna want to put up with him to deal with his mother. I can put money on that. I really can. Anyway, I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. See you in the next video.